What's up, everybody? How you doing tonight? Happy Thursday. Got people coming in. What's up, Bob, Scott Lees, Don Terry, Gary Walters, Keith Horns, Sam Ortiz. Going on. Sam Ortiz says going in the kayak this Saturday. Finally, can't wait. Jim G, what's going on, buddy? Are you back? Mark Webb, Rick Menzel, Tammy Hoover. How many drift socks do you suggest for a 22-foot boat? That all depends, Bob. I personally I have three. I have six. I have three big ones, 48-inch mouse, and then I have two 24s, and then I have a smaller one. Um, my boat's a big boat. It's big, heavy. The bow sits up now out of the water because of the outboard on it. So it catches a lot of wind, and I hang all my bags off the bow solely. So I'm usually running anywhere from 2 to 4 bags on any kind of appreciable wind. If it's really howling, I'll put everything out that I have on different length tethers, and I'll double two of them up. Um, Tony has those bags that you can't buy anymore. They're really just nylon. They're just nylon bags with a big end and a little end. Um, when Tony got his, they were from shit. He got those. I'm pretty sure his say Cabela's on them. So, uh, but they're just nylon. You can't get those anymore. These are the ones that the drift bags I have really aren't drift bags. They're trolling socks. A little different. It's just heavier material. Same idea. But something 22 foot long, I can tell you right now, I'd have probably three big ones, 48s. I don't know what the next one up is, 60, like two 60s and a 48. You know, I'd want to have a little bit of ability to play between, because you could go basically one and a half, two, two and a half, and you've got some ability because you addressing your boat with the wind. So when I was out Monday morning with Nate and his boat, when Keith and I went out with him, he was also using his trolling motor to keep himself. I like to be pretty perpendicular with the waves. The whole point of drifting is we're going this way. And so the waves are coming like this, and I don't want to be like this, because when you cast downwind, when you're jigging, you want that wind behind you and you're casting downwind. And if the boat's cocked like this, if you're fishing alone, it doesn't matter. Other than it's still a little wonky, but you can do it with one person, no problem. But even with two people, when the boat's perpendicular like this, it opens up the whole face of the boat. So you have room to spread people out in the boat so you can all cast. Now suddenly, if here's the wind, here's the wind, and your boat's like this and it's drifting crossways, when you cast, it's going to go like this. And so you're going to be coming back on an angle, and it closes the boat off and it makes it smaller because now you're both trying to cast at a hard quartering angle. And it's not, and like with a blade bait now, a bucktail or a jig and Rapala kind of bait, you could go cross current with it and it wouldn't bungle it up. You go cross current with a blade and it has a higher propensity. It's not It's not impossible, and it's not that it doesn't work, but it definitely makes the the times that it rolls over and catches the line, happen more. I guess I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. Dan Biddle, saw you on the tractor tonight. I must have been mowing my lawn. Can't wait to meet you one day. Oh, you should have stopped and said hello. Vincent Phonically, that would be Vincent Pelchanes, Pelchanes. Hello from Jersey. We're in Jersey. Courtney's from New Jersey. Where are you from? Hello, everyone. Not yet. How's you? I hope you guys are having a great trip up there. Say hello to everybody for me. I hope the fishing. My buddy Jim G is on. Hold on, I know this, Jim. Don't say it. Butterfield. I think they went up there for a crappy specific trip. I've never been up on that lake. Jim's told me a bunch of stories about it, and come to find out, I probably know a bunch of guys in that camp. Jimmy Denson, I know, is one of them. Jimmy and I go back a long time. Sam Ortiz, what they biting on lately? Sam, that's the loaded question we talk about all the time. I caught a fish on a swim bait yesterday. Don caught one on a blade. I caught one on a blade. John Jigging Rat Burrows fished a lot of different things. I didn't see him catch anything, though. You could ask Don, though. Don would remember. My memory's a little shot, Scott Durando, what's up? Jay Batcha, how did Walleye Fest go? Jay, it went pretty great. I got most everything finalized. I think I still have a couple checks that I'm waiting for people to send me an address to send out to them. Got a couple kids we got to take care of for their prize. And then we've got lifetime licenses we got to buy and get out to the kids. So, and then Walleye Fest 2023 will be officially in the books. I got to go see the people, the great people at the Lions Club tomorrow, actually, and give them a big fat check as a thank you. And we're making my partners and I made a very generous donation to the Lions Club to keep their efforts and their spirit alive in what they do and the charitable work that those organizations do. So, J Dam, poor man's drift socks. We use 5-gallon buckets. Absolutely. I've used buckets a long time. Long time. Amish Outfitters, Rick Menzel says, make nice drift bags. I've seen that on, and I'm assuming, well, I've seen that. They make nice stuff. Bill Morey, what's going on? Courtney K, good evening, Matt. Hi, all. Jersey girl here too, Vincent. Amen to that. Hey, Todd Shelter, my buddy. What's going on, pal? Tim Graver, what's up, Farmer Tim? Oh, Vinny says, I'm going to call you Vinny. Sorry if it's Vincent. Whatever, I'll call you Vincent. That's rude. I didn't mean to call you Vinny. Be like somebody called me Maddie. Not far from where you were striper fishing. So, yeah, we were striper fishing up in Atlantic Highlands. Courtney, my wife's she's from about 45 minutes south of there. Just inland, not far. Rob Snyder, any fuel leak updates? Yes. So let's talk about this fuel leak yesterday. Talk about crazy stuff. I wasn't home. I was on my way home from our meeting yesterday, and Courtney calls me. She goes, there is a terrible, terrible smell of gas. Now we have gas in our house, and so I thought, holy shit, something happened downstairs, or something, something happened. She goes, no, not natural gas, gasoline. And I'm like, well, that's weird. She goes, I'm up by the water. She goes, you can see it. You can see it on the water. And I'm like, really? And she goes, yeah, you can see the sheen. And I said, okay. I'm like, that's not good. And so the wind was blowing from the west yesterday, but the current was still going downriver to the east. And so I got home because when she called me, I wasn't far away. I was on my way home. I get home, and as soon as I went across the bridge, I could smell it. The Route 11 bridge. I got home, and the smell was just nauseating. Really strong gas smell in the air. And I walk out back, and you could see the whole river was covered in gas. You could see the whole thing was a sheen. And Courtney said it came down our side first, and then the wind must have caught it, and it pushed all that gas over to the South Shore and down along the South Shore, and it was all the way to SK. When that I could see it, you could see the sheen all the way downriver in the sunshine. So that was after about 10 minutes. I'm like, well, holy shit, what are you going to do? And so we looked up, and I knew there was a DEC hotline for spills. So I called the New York State spill hotline, and that was at like, I don't even think it was noon. It was pretty close to noon, but I don't think it was quite noon. It was 12, Courtney says. So we were right there. And I reported it. The guy took my information, where I was, what was going on. And he's like, all right, somebody will be right out. And I said, well, they can walk down. I said, I'm not going to be here, but they can walk down my yard, my side yard, and come out to the water and see, and give them my address and all that fun stuff. And so Courtney and I had stuff to do. We were out running around. We had lunch. We come back, and the guy was just pulling into our driveway. And I go, did you just get here? He goes, yeah. So that was 3 hours. It was after 3:00 when we got home. And he goes, and you could still smell the gas. And so we walked out back, and I assumed originally that something had spilled, and gas is funny. It will dissipate. It'll evaporate off the surface of the water. Not instantly, but fairly quickly. And when we came home and saw that there was still sheen on the water, then that's when I panicked. That's when I was like, oh shit, because that means that it was still coming. And I live next to a marina, and they have gas pumps. And my first thought was one of those lines ruptured, and they don't know it. Underground. I don't know where their tanks are. I think everything's underground nowadays, but I have no idea. And my first thought was something broke, something ruptured, because now it was 3 hours later, and you could still see the gas out there, just as thick as before. And so I'm like, oh God, there's more of it coming, and so the guy from Spill Response said, all right, well, I'm gonna go get upwind of this smell and go and see if we can find it. And then he goes, if not, I'll go over to the marina. And so I don't know, that was about an hour later. I get a knock at the door, and it's this guy from Spill Response. And he said, I just wanted to let you know what's going on. And he goes, the marina said there was a boat they put in the water, that it had had some gas in the bilge somehow, and it pumped it out into the water. That's what he told me. And I'm like, okay, I said, at least it's nothing serious. And he goes, you were the only one that called in about it, though. Well, that seems odd, and he said, so I'm gonna get a hold of law enforcement. Okay. Didn't mean anything to me at the time. This morning, I get a phone call from DC officer here in Oswego County, and he introduces himself and says that he's now taking over the investigation. And he asked me, he goes, "What time did you call?" Verifying on, because they had it on record or whatever. "When did you notice it?" And because I'm having a hard time with this. I didn't. He goes, "I don't know why it took spill response 3 hours to get there." And he goes, "They never called me for another hour. So it was four." He goes, "It was 4 hours from when this was called in to when somebody notified him." And he seemed pretty hot about that. I mean, and then he made me think, and I'm like, well, what if this really was? I don't know. I have no idea what the end result is, and I'll finish my story. But as far as like spill response and stuff like that goes, like, what if that really was serious? Or what if that really was a fuel tank? I have no idea how big those fuel tanks are. Um, and I'm sure that they could have a failure through no fault of anyone's, just it doesn't. But if that really was happening and there was all of a sudden hundreds or thousands of gallons of fuel being dumped in this river, like, shouldn't spill response be responding to something faster than 3 hours? Because imagine what could have happened in 3 hours if something was actively dumping continuously for 3 hours. So I hadn't really thought about that, honestly, because I never called a spill in before. I never really even thought about it. I've never been around a spill. Well, I remember the morning they wouldn't let us out of the charter boat marina during Harbor Fest because some idiot had flipped his 48-foot cigarette boat over somehow. I don't know how. I don't even remember. Somebody was showing off and he did something and went upside down. Anyway, they dumped all that fuel, and they made a huge deal out of it in the Oswego Harbor. So I haven't seen a DEC boat out on the water. Nothing. Now, this morning I went out bright and early, and I didn't smell anything, and I didn't see anything, and I haven't seen anything all day, or smelled anything. The DEC officer called me this morning, like I said, and told me he was going over to start investigating this morning. And I also thought this was strange. He told me that he would follow back up with me because I'd made the report and basically tell me what happened. Which I thought was, I don't know, odd. I'm like, who am I? I just called it in because I saw it, I don't want anything to happen. And it was, well, Courtney's bringing up a good point. We can talk about that in a second, but let's keep, let's see. That was the fuel leak update. Lifetime licenses for the kids is huge, Scott Lee. And yes, Bob, I will. I'm still figuring out how we're going to do all of them because I'm going to do all of them at once, but I will. Tammy Hoover, I'm already excited about Walleye Fest 2024 planning ahead. Yeah. Aaron, what's going on, buddy? Bob Bender. Good evening. Rob H. Merlin, what's up? Evening from Lamoka Lake, man. Catch him up, Wiz. Catch him up. Oh, isn't that funny, babe? Vincent said he's got relatives up here. Where did he say he's from?
He just said near where you went fishing.
Oh, up there, yeah. Rumble seat. That is piss poor response from the authorities. Again, I didn't really think anything of it until after the fact. I owned a marina at one point. I owned the River Rat Marina and Tackle Shop, and we had an elderly couple. Matter of fact, Nate and Keith and I were just talking about this the other day fishing because Nate was there and Nate remembers. Nate used to work for me at the River Rat. We had an old couple that had their boat at our marina and came down there one evening. And he thought he put it in park. They were parked right next to the marina and there were no barriers there. And he didn't. He took his foot off the brake and the car rolled and went boom, right over the edge. Which we got the two elderly people got out okay. Everything, nothing was wrong. Shut the car off. It was only sitting like this. It was a minivan, and the ass end was up on the edge of the wall, and the nose was down in the water. Anyway, tow truck driver comes, and this guy, I don't know, he drugged the car up out of the water with it resting right on the concrete wall, right on the corner of it, and ruptured a fuel line and dumped 15 gallons, maybe 20 gallons of gasoline into the water. You'd have thought the world came to an end. There was DEC all over the place. They boomed off my whole marina. They must have spread 30 bales of peat moss on the water to soak it all up. And then they go and they bring the boom in and they suck all that stuff up. And holy cow, it was a project. 3 days. I haven't seen a soul out here. Not a soul. Nobody. Nobody of authority. Nobody. A lot of fuel went down this river. I don't know how much. And Courtney said, wow, it seems hard to believe that was in a bilge. Listen, it's possible. It's possible one of these big, this marina deals with huge yachts. And it's possible that engine compartment would be huge down there. All of those boats are twin screw at minimum. There could have been some sort of catastrophic fuel leak or rupture of a tank, and it filled or really, dumped 100 or 150 gallons of fuel into the hold. Let's say they put it in the water. They hooked all the batteries up, and so the systems went live. And as soon as they did, those bilge pumps would start kicking it out. Yeah, I guess that's possible. I'm going to be interested now to hear what the DEC actually has to say if he calls me back. He said he was gonna. I didn't ask him to. Maury, even if it was an accidental discharge from a bilge, the marina is required by law to report it and take steps to clean it and stop it. You would have to think that if I'm the only one that called, they didn't know. Somehow they didn't know. I wouldn't. They couldn't have known and done nothing, because that doesn't make sense. Everybody naturally tries to clean something up. I don't know, and they all know. Anybody that works by the water knows fuel is an issue, and any place that ever has a fuel dock knows these things. So my assumption has got to be that no one there knew, and I don't know the circumstances of it. All I know is that they said that the spill response guy told me last night that they said officially it came out of a bilge of a boat that they were putting in the water. So I don't know that. That's only what I'm being told. If the marina knew it spilled and they never called, they broke the law, right? And we don't know that. Hook and Eyes, what's up, buddy? Wade Phillips, what's up? Dancing Darcy, that's an interesting name. That's a tongue twister right there. We need a fall walleye fest. Yeah. Yeah. Love the fall fishing. Vinny, do you know where the spill came from? 43 North? No, it wasn't 43 North. That's on the lake. It was just up from my house. I mean, Winter Harbor. Yeah, it was at Winter Harbor. Sounds fishy. Sounds fishy. Bunch of fishermen talking about it. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, whatever it was, it's stopped now. Dennis, say that again. 4 seasons of walleye derbies. Maybe not on the super scale like Walleye Fest, but some sort of derby. Oh, so you're saying a spring, summer, fall, and winter derby. That would be Walleye Fest times 4. Not on the scale, just the derby. Well, someone's already suggested a Walleye Fest on Ice derby, which I coined that phrase. I thought that'd be fun. And we don't know what kind of we don't know what kind of winter we're ever going to have. I think a fall wouldn't be reasonable. Maybe we could do the fall derby and the masquerade ball the same weekend. Yeah, October, end of October. And for the Halloween bash. Yeah, Courtney and I want to have a full blown Halloween costume party, masquerade, the whole nine. Like everybody, if you're not dressed up, you're not getting in. That kind of thing. Like Halloween's one of my favorites of the year. One of my favorites. I love that time of year. Dennis, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. We need a fall. Okay, now everybody's gonna say we need a fall walleye fest. All right, see what somebody started. Has anyone cut open a walleye recently to see what they've been eating? Not I. Oh, I didn't ask John. I don't. I think John kept the walleyes from yesterday, so I didn't ask him. Rob Snyder, Marine Patrol on the other side of Lake knew along with U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary. So they knew, really. So they knew from my call, but the DEC officer in the area didn't know. That also seems strange. Mark Webb, Walleye Fest Light. Yeah, Mark, because you and I can never do anything half-assed. People have no idea the conversations Mark and I had.
What?
Right. Well, because Mark's awesome, but yeah, you guys have no idea of all of the hours Mark and I spent text message, emails, phone calls, figuring out what's what we needed, what we wanted, and even then the website didn't fully live up to its potential because we had the issue with the sorting of the leaderboard. Part of that is just because of sheer lack of testing. Everything came down to the last minute, and that's 1,000% my fault. There was just so much of it. It was mayfly lymph, mayfly nymph larva and perch. Austin would be easy. 9 o'clock, half an hour, covered everything. Real quick, I'm going to do a shout out. I'm not sponsored by these people in any way, but my buddy Burke, who we went up ice fishing with up on Shroon Lake this winter, is good friends with these guys, the guys over at Fat Sauce. Now, I have another one in my boat. Now, this is the crayfish oil. And my friend Burke has followed it as Burke's Pictures on Facebook. If you like lake trout, you like the Adirondacks, you like that whole vibe, he's your man. He's a fellow JT Rods pro staffer, but he sent me this stuff. So he sent me the herring oil. Sent me home with the herring oil and the herring paste that Fat Sauce makes for trout. This, and he knows how much I'm fishing around the rocks and fishing walleyes and don't think walleyes don't eat crayfish, and don't think walleyes won't eat something doused in crayfish oil, because they will. but he knows how much I love smallmouth bass. So big shout out to them because he called me the other day and he knew I was swamped and he goes, I'm just going to send you a bottle. Enjoy. Let me know how you do. So before I even start to tell you guys how great this stuff is, this is before I've even opened the lid. Fat sauce. I know fish307.com carries them for sure. And you can look them up at FAT sauce. Alex Pierre, what's up, man? Yeah, everybody take it easy. Don Terry, look at that. Don Terry, Matt, my son just got a huge walleye at our property. I'm waiting to get pictures. He released it. It's over 26 inches. I'll have pictures and we will be posting on diehards, etc. Catch and release. Would have won himself $3,150 in cash and about another. I don't even know how much that Dakota Lithium box that Dakota Lithium donated to the top 3 anglers and to the top youth angler. I think those are $300-400 a piece or more. Mark's like, looking forward to seeing it. What's your address? It's where we walk out of, Mark, when we go ice fishing over there with him. It's sweet. All right. Love you guys and girls. I'll see you tomorrow. Not sure from where, but I'll see you tomorrow. By the way, these are the new hats that just came in today. Lightweight summer trucker hat. So there's 2 styles of hat now, not the hair. There's 2 styles of hat now on the website, or at least there will be later tonight. And we still have tons of great merch. So if you're into it, check it out. I'll have the link, the Shopify link in the comments. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Keep your tip up.